In this video, I'm going to go over 3 of the things I like about Stoicism and how I think they're applicable to the modern day. This is not an exhaustive list, obviously. I wanted to make it clear that my own biases and opinions may affect how I interpret these principles, but I will attempt to keep this minimal as I don't believe that the teaching of philosophy should be made partisan. More on that later, however. Number 1. Memento mori, or remember death. Stoicism teaches that you should meditate on death, and not just your own, but of those you love. This is not to be done in a nihilistic way. Oh, we're all going to die, woe is me, life is meaningless. But for yourself to realise how short life is and how any day could be your last. With this realisation, you should consider better how you spend your time. Are you doing things that provide meaning to you? Are you working towards the betterment of yourself and your fellow man? If not, why not? You should also meditate on losing your loved ones, so that you can realise how much they really mean to you, and so value the time you have with them more. Now, I am personally optimistic that we'll have life extension technology pretty soon, and with the coming of AGI that seems even more likely. However, I'm sure people born in 1950 also thought life extension would be here soon, and there's a non-zero chance AGI will have an alignment problem and kill us all, or I could just get hit by a bus, so meditating on death is still a good idea. Number 2. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. What is the use in worrying about events before they transpire? In doing this, you suffer twice. You feel the negative emotions when you worry about the event, and feel them again when the event occurs. Worse, the event may not even occur, and you will have suffered over something entirely fictional. Best would be to focus on the present and not let future events trouble you. Be here now. I understand that this can be challenging to do for any person, and for those who suffer from afflictions like anxiety, it can seem impossible. There are methods like cognitive behavioural therapy that can give direction for people with these, but for most people it can be helpful to realise that thoughts are transient. If you can recognise this and focus on the thought itself rather than its content, you can allow it to pass by. For more of this kind of mindfulness, I found Sam Harris's book Waking Up quite informative. Number 3. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work, as a human being. What do I have to complain of? If I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into this world to do, or is this what I was created for, to huddle under the blankets and stay warm? But it's nicer here. So you were born to feel nice, instead of doing things and experiencing them? Don't you see the plants, the birds, the ants and the spiders and bees going about their individual tasks, putting the world in order as best they can? And you're not willing to do your job as a human being? Why aren't you running to do what your nature demands? Marcus Aurelius. A thing I am fond of in Stoicism is that it implores you to be active in your society. It does not recommend you seek a cave to live in as some contemplative philosophies do. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the later methodology. It may well be more conducive to spiritual enlightenment, but it does not suit my temperament, and I suspect it isn't as helpful for progressing society as a whole. Stoicism wants you to be active in your community, to help your fellow man in the ways that you are most capable, to take on responsibility, to be active politically. This is why many Stoics held office, as Aurelius did, stood by their beliefs, died for them even, as Cato did. Finally, a side note on the politicization of the teaching of Stoicism. One Stoic publication I'm subscribed to wrote a piece on Cato the Younger and made allusions to Cato's struggle against Caesar being similar to a leftist struggle against Trump. I found this amusing on one level and disconcerting on another. Amusing in that Cato was motivated by upholding traditional Roman values known as mos morium, which means way of the ancestors. I seriously doubt Cato would be a fan of Trump's policy ideas, and I would say the same for Officer Harris, but then she doesn't seem to have any policy ideas. The major concern, however, is this. It is true that the Stoics wanted people to be involved politically, which is likely why the author felt compelled to sneak his own opinion into the piece. It's my contention, however, that while the Stoics should be politically active, the teaching of Stoicism should remain non-partisan. On a practical level, so as not to alienate a potential student who disagrees politically, but also morally, it's wrong to proselytize someone who has entrusted their education on a subject to you. I think, however, that this is a symptom of the politicization of everyday life, and the author was probably just caught up in this. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. If you're interested in somewhere to start with Stoicism, I would recommend Meditations by Marcus Aurelius.